Hello. I've pretty much gotten sick and tired of the political bantering, and I've decided to say something because silence is not helping anyone right now. And basically, right now, politicians have this culture of finger pointing, and a lot of people are saying it, but it's a lot of older people, and they're very, philosophical kind of, oh, I'm a politician, I know about politics, I've written books, blah, blah, blah. And so I decided to kind of be a spokesperson for the youth and to just kind of get out there and actually start by acting and letting you all know, do not fall for basically the crap. And they're acting like 3-year-olds, or as if somehow Republicans versus Democrats, they have gangs, and I'm pretty much waiting for them to throw up their colors and start shooting, because right now that seems to be what they've gotten to. And all I can hear from the politicians is, it's not my fault, this guy is going to do this or this woman's going to do that, don't vote for them, vote for me. But none of them is actually saying what they're doing or what they want to do that's going to actually help me or help the majority of people. For example, one of the things that's going on right now is no tax cuts. No tax increases, cuts or keep it the same, no tax increases. Now, at first on the surface, yeah, that sounds great. And I'm all for it, no tax increases, because I can't afford to pay taxes. I can't afford right now how I'm living with my bills and scraping, much less increased taxes. However, when you look at it, the taxes that were going to be increased weren't for everybody. They were for the rich, the people who can afford to pay the additional taxes. However, you hear, oh, we're not going to increase taxes because that's going to hurt the American people, and you assume that they're referring to the American people as you and me, the working class, when really the American people they were referring to was the top 25% who already controls 90% of the economy. And the things they want to cut would be things like Medicare and Medicaid, which, grandparents and older people and injured people and all this kind of stuff, that's the kind of programs they want to take. So basically, the ones who are already down on their luck, let's hurt them, because the ones who are up and riding on that high horse, how dare we impede on, putting the filet mignon on their table when somebody just wants, a piece of chicken, kind of a thing. And I think that that's unfair, that's unjust. And so I think we need to get rid of the party affiliation aspect of it. Stop voting because someone is a Democrat or because someone's a Republican. Screw it. It doesn't matter. Are they the right candidate? The information is out there. And even if you can't follow every single politician, how about maybe you get a group of friends and each of you follow 1 or 2 politicians, and then you go ahead and summarize it for each other. But I'm just really tired of us having, the government run the way it's run, and having the idea that it's okay to just sit and scream, it's not my fault, it's someone else's fault. I'll give you an example. The debates have already begun, and one of the main points was, don't vote for that opponent because they're like Obama, and I wouldn't have allowed the debt ceiling to be increased, and that person voted for an increase of the debt ceiling. And my thought was, that sounds great if you take that isolated segment and say, oh wow, yeah, they increased the debt ceiling, that's a bad thing, we already owe too much money. But the alternative was for the country to go into default. So basically, that politician to me has said, I would have rather had the American government go into default on loans than to do what was necessary to extend our time so that way we could fix the issue at a later date. That's what I heard. But a lot of people don't listen like that. Same thing with, a lot of other spending. I hear more than just what is being said. And I encourage you as Americans to listen to more than what is being said, because for most of it, they say certain things in certain ways to make it appeal to you at that moment, but taken in the larger context, it is not necessarily the best thing for you. For example, go back to the taxes only because that seems to be one of the hot topics right now, and we don't want to increase taxes for the American people, but who are they calling the American people? It is not you and me. Just so you know, the American people that they're referring to, the top 25% that controlled 90% of the wealth in this country. And unless you make over $1 million a year, then why are you really worried about that issue? Now, granted, there have been some tax reforms that were going to affect, you know, the upper middle class, lower middle class, the lower income families, things like that. And so I completely get not passing that kind of stuff because we hurt so much. But don't assume because you hear increased taxes that it means an increase for everyone. So little tidbits like that, please, I encourage you to just look a little deeper. Don't pay attention to the banter so much as what the true issue is. And definitely we need to make our politicians accountable for the things that are going on, and they can't just sit here and point fingers and say that person's bad, so vote for me because I'm better than the worst. I don't want politicians like that in the White House. And right now 90% of the people in, you know, Congress and you know, the senators, the representatives, all of that, 90% of them have been reelected. They're incumbents. And obviously, for the past couple years, they've been doing something wrong because we've been getting worse. And I'm not saying all of them need to go, but a good amount of them do. And so don't just listen to what they're saying the other people are doing wrong, but more go into, okay, if that person did vote for that, then why? Was it attached to a bill that would have done more harm than good? So yeah, maybe they voted for something or they voted against something, but what else happens in that? You know what I mean? I also encourage you, go to different different news stations, different media. Don't just stick with one news source, because even in that, the reporters themselves can be slightly biased. I'm going to keep you updated, keep you posted. 2012 is supposed to be the end of the world, so to speak. But I think that I don't personally adhere to the whole apocalypse idea. However, I do think it needs to be an end to the current state that we're in, and we do need to make a change. Mean change like the generic something's got to change, it could be better or worse. No, we need to make a change. We can't sustain this political environment, and please be a part of that with me and join me in this movement. I mean, this is a huge thing, and we're going to do big things, and we're going to make a change in this world for the better, because we are all feeling it. The majority of the country's feeling it. You know, nearly 312 million people, 600 people are making all the decisions, and apparently they don't understand how those decisions affect the rest of us, or they don't care. So we need to fix this. Thank you.